Let's talk a bit about the fact that you span from theater small space to theater big space to opera to television to film. Are those, I know as an actor, I'd call them gear changes. I have to change gears for each one. Same game. But for a designer, whether you're designing for the Coal Mine Theatre, whether you're designing for the main scenes of Stratford, whether you're designing for a film where the camera is going to be in here, how do you adapt? How did you learn to adapt, and how do you adapt?
You're not going to like the answer to this. I design the same way for Stratford as I designed for Theatre Aquarius or Neptune. I just design the show. I just design the show. And then the designs are there, and they'll go, oh, we can't afford that, or we can't. Then you adjust, as you say, you shift gear on, well, no, you can, because I've got two friends that are going to lend me those 18th century dresses, and I'll talk to Stratford about renting them for, $2 instead of $4, because I designed them originally. I negotiate, and basically, and I say it, I just design the show, and then I make it work financially.
So when you're designing for Adam for an opera,
I don't go, oh, I'm at Pacific Opera Company, which I was. I did a production of Jenufa for them, which they did brilliantly. And that was a fantastic experience that Adam and I had. The only time I've ever seen him nervous, and it's because his family was coming to see him, and he's from Victoria. And it flared up one day. I said, oh my God, he's nervous. It was so nice. But it's the same. It's just the same. You do the show that's in front of you and that you're talking about. And I'm very, very good with budgets, though. I will tell you this. And when people tell me I'm over budget, if I don't believe them, I argue every single penny. Ask anybody, I'll go, no. You tell me why you're estimating 5 yards of cotton at $25 a yard, and you're putting that apron in as 5 meters. Well, I'm going to spend $15 a yard. I'm going to buy 3, and your cutter shouldn't cost $800.
Is that the lawyer?
Huh?
Is that the lawyer who came back?
Oh yeah. But it's funny because film gives you so much knowledge about costing and money and figuring out, and it's very efficient. And I look at some of the larger theaters in the country, and they're not being efficient. And I wanted to know why a pair of trousers that I could have done in Toronto were going to cost me $275, and the base rate, which was repeated no matter what the trouser looked like at Stratford, was $2,000. I mean, that's a number out of my head. But it was ridiculous. So there's an inefficiency here. You're not doing something right, so we better look at it, because I need those trousers.
But if you're working in the theater, you are working, of course, with the director and the writer, but you are also working with the lighting designer, because
Yes.
what they do on there will affect your colors.
Yeah.
If you're working in film, you're working with the DOP, because what they see and how they light it and what's in those lights will affect what you do.
And the grading of the color now.
And the grading of the color is more important, is more sensitive in film and television now than it is in theater. When you work in the theater, you know the gels that could go in, what can happen to your colors on stage. But when you work in film and television, you have to know in advance what their plans are to treat those images.
Yes.
So is that a technical meeting you have with DOPs?
No, well, we generally put our color palettes together with the production designer and myself, and she will bring in some props and some set dressing, and I'll bring in some color samples, or and my palette that I'm going to work in, and they will film it. We'll have the DOP there, and we film it, and then they show it what it looks like under several gradings, and they'll choose. So then you have to, in your mind, realize what your palette is going to look like under when they're shooting it, because it's not going to be what you see.